So now we're gonna check out a video that 𝗦cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 sent me. It's TikTok, the most evil business in the world. I don't know super much about TikTok. I've only been like scrolling through a little bit and then sending some TikToks to my girlfriend, and then my girlfriend sends me some TikToks, and then we just look at them before we fall asleep. But then we got a child, so now whenever we go to like go to the bedroom to sleep, we have to be totally quiet. So we don't do that anymore. But yeah, I don't know much. I just know there's some funny videos there, and there's a lot of like crazy challenges that are not good, like licking food in the store and stealing cars and stuff. That is not good. That is not good. So that is kind of evil. But yeah, I think it's something. I'm guessing this has something to do with China, right? Maybe not, because I think TikTok is Chinese, but we'll see. So we'll just jump into it, and then the video can tell us. And good morning,
Most used social media app by Generation Z, with TikTok having more engagement than YouTube and 1 billion active monthly users. It's very clear that if you've been paying attention, TikTok...
They got 1 billion active users a month? A billion? How much does Facebook have? And Facebook is like the old dog in the streets, I think. Wow, 1 billion.
It's now taking over the world. Everyone you know and probably yourself have the app on your phone right now. And yet countries around the world are starting to ban TikTok. The US military has banned the app on all devices and the devices of their family members. And now, according to top politicians, researchers, and the CIA, TikTok now poses the greatest threat to national security. But even darker...
The greatest threat. Like, shit. Sometimes, actually, me and my girlfriend, we're like talking to the Chinese when we're talking to the phone that is laying on the desk, because we're like just like pretending and like playing around that they're listening. So we just talk a little bit to them.
Is that just in the last few months, experts have now discovered that TikTok is creating a mental illness pipeline, a pipeline that almost no one knows about. It's barely
mental illness pipeline. This is interesting. And Facebook has 1.96 billion. So TikTok isn't that far away, and TikTok is so young compared to Facebook. But I guess maybe it's probably more like it's easier to get into, and it's more like addictive, I think.
Reported on, but it's a pipeline that is affecting all of us. In fact, this TikTok pipeline
the goddamn lag though. What the hell is
so damaging that President Joe Biden was forced to announce that TikTok is now, quote, a matter of genuine concern. But how on earth could a stupid lip-syncing app become a national security threat? What makes this app so dangerous? Well, to understand this, we need to begin looking at the start of this pipeline. It all starts with the average TikToker waking up and checking TikTok on autopilot.
This is so
just
good.
a couple videos before I get up, you think to yourself. But before you've gotten out of bed, you've been scrolling for 30 minutes and didn't even realize it. These short bursts of 30-second videos serve as noise, empty distractions that have already increased your dopamine tolerance. And this is how the TikTok mental illness pipeline begins. From the minute you wake up looking at your phone to the rest of the hours you spend on TikTok, you are constantly rewiring neural pathways that help manage your emotions, self-control, and information processing. Which is why if you have TikTok, it is destroying your attention span at a faster rate than any other social media app. A study from August 2021 found that TikTok destroys the part of your brain that inhibits self-control.
Is this like just TikTok, or is it basically all of the social medias? Because I feel like that is kinda important in this video. I hope he's gonna say something about it. I know it's like aimed towards TikTok, but I feel like if you're scrolling at Facebook, or if you're doing Twitter, or if you're doing Instagram, if you're doing like any of them, the content you're getting, it's like very often super short and just like bam, 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 bam all the time. And then it's another fun thing, and another fun thing, and another interesting thing, and another interesting thing. And it can go through like 200 different, like basically different topics in like 30 minutes. And before all of this, you might have like read a book on one topic and spent like 3 hours just like diving into this one thing that is like vast and like very like thought out and stuff like that. So I feel like you're getting served so much so fast here that is kind of the issue. But they're saying like it's rewiring your nerval system. Nerval. It doesn't sound correct. But yeah, so is the content, or is it like planned out, or is it just like a by effect from hanging out on social media? TikTok is the worst. But also social media, yes. I would say all, yeah.
But even worse, this happens to everyone. If you right now have even a limited exposure to TikTok, it only takes a few hours to make your brain addicted to the flow of videos that TikTok endlessly supplies. The same study found that this constant stream of videos damages your prefrontal cortex, and this damage is permanent, which is why—
Damn, I think my girlfriend is super damaged now. She has scrolled so much TikTok and so much Instagram and so much Snapchat. I guess I'm a little bit damaged as well. If I go to poop, very often I open like something that is like fast like this. But now lately it's been like YouTube Shorts, just like looking at Dave Chappelle like stand-up comic things that are like very short. I'm like, wow, that is so much fun. That is super funny. But yeah, I do understand how we can be a little bit broken by it.
Why it's now reported that we have the attention spans of goldfish, and when you have a low attention span, this also destroys your self-control.
Overestimating me.
And studies show that when you have lower levels of self-control, it's very likely for you to become much more depressed. But you see, this is just the start of how damaging TikTok is. This is just a small taste of things to come, because it only gets much worse from here.
It's getting worse. It's getting
worse. Before
we
continue, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Morning Brew. Morning Brew is a free daily newsletter delivered to you Monday to Sunday that gets you up to speed on business, finance, and tech news in just 5 minutes.
Take a cup of
Before
coffee.
I subscribe to Morning Brew, I'd start my mornings aimlessly browsing YouTube and Twitter.
Yes.
And now with Morning Brew, I receive a summary of relevant news stories that are really informative. For example, I learned that American investors now have stakes in more than half of all Premier League football teams, with 𝗦ci FC now being the latest club to be gobbled up by investors, with Chelsea being bought out due to sanctions being placed on Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich. There's no reason not to subscribe to Morning Brew if you're interested in business, finance, or tech. It's completely free and takes less than 15 seconds to subscribe. So sign up for free by visiting morningbrewdaily.com/moon or by clicking the link in the description below. Now back to the video.
I could skip the ad, but I feel like because I'm reacting to his video, I feel like it's rude to skip things. We gotta give it to him.
Researchers are now understanding that there is a direct link between TikTok and the mental illness epidemic we are wallowing in, a much bigger correlation than any other social media app. But what's more pressing is that TikTok actively promotes this mental illness epidemic. The mental illness epidemic it's cultivating. You see, the culture of TikTok creates a perfect breeding ground for mental illness, and oftentimes this is a classic problem with all social media, where people become anxious and depressed when they see other people's
There said that it's a thing with all social media.
Perfectly manufactured lives online, creating an impossible standard for young people to achieve. This has been reported with Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and it's been happening for years on all social media, and even before social media.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like when I react to videos, I don't want to be like skipping through things too much and like skipping when they have sponsors. I just feel like I'm already like pretty much borrowing the content. It's under fair use and everything, but I feel like it's such a small thing I can do to like respect the creator, I think.
Media, this was happening in magazines and on TV. And whilst TikTok does contribute to this problem in a massive way, this doesn't account for the drastic rise in all mental illnesses. TikTok, unlike other social media apps, glamorizes mental illness. With its advanced algorithms, TikTok is creating whole subcultures dedicated to the promotion and self-diagnosis of mental illness. In fact, it's very likely that if you go on the TikTok front page, you'll often see the commodification of mental illness, something quirky and as a personality trait. Now obviously this is bad for those who actually suffer from mental illness, but this has gotten so bad that TikTok is actively fabricating entire lists of symptoms, syndromes, and disorders, which in itself is creating this whole new phenomena. In 2021, roughly 13 teens were referred to the Rush Medical Center. These were mostly teenage girls, and they began to exhibit the abnormal involuntary actions of Tourette's syndrome, where they would have, quote,
"Huh? What? Are they getting Tourette's from TikTok? Huh? No, this can't be real. Is this what they're trying to tell me? Oh my god. What the hell?"
Involuntary actions from jerking arm movements to curse words to head and neck twitches. They were also reported as hurting themselves, littering their bodies with cuts and bruises.
But then it's a good thing you deleted TikTok docs. I'm pointing too much. I need to stop pointing. It's rude to point. I had it before TikTok. Yeah, I don't think TikTok is the only way to get depression, but I think it's a good thing to like not be on TikTok as well if you have depression, probably, from watching this seems like a catalyst for like increasing like negative thoughts, as I understand it right now. But yeah, my mind is getting formed. They're pretending to have Tourette's. Oh, I suffer from awesomeness. Feels bad, man. Yeah.
And strangely, one of the medical workers working with them noticed that a fair majority of the teens were saying the word beans in a British accent. This same medical worker then found out that all these girls shared the same interest in watching TikTok videos about Tourette's, with the researcher finding that the top Tourette's activist on TikTok was a British woman who shouted beans frequently as part of her condition. This TikTok phenomena has weird parallels to the 2001 anthrax attacks, where people who never contracted the disease developed similar symptoms after watching too many reports on anthrax. This weird TikTok mental illness phenomena was then further proven in later years. Researchers found that due to the isolation of lockdowns leading to increased screen time, huge swaths of teenagers developed mental illnesses. With many of
For real talks, did your sister get tics from TikTok? Wow, that is wild to think about. But I can like understand it, that if you are like impressionable and you watch a lot of this, maybe you're a little bit sad. Maybe you have like, I don't know, maybe you're like receptible, and then you get tics. It kind of makes sense, but it is wild. It is very wild.
These young TikTok users having TikTok-induced tics. But then when society went back to normal in 2022, this spike in Tourette's went down considerably. They discovered that people who watched TikTok videos on Tourette's would actually develop Tourette's just by watching these videos. And then later on in DSM-5 TikTok, the author found the promotion of mental disorders on TikTok took up front page real estate on the app, with many of these influencers faking mental illness for clout.
Clouds is
like,
that,
for example,
like,
the TikToker called 𝗦cije𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀. 𝗦cije𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 claimed to have suffered from Tourette's by the age of 6, and by 2017, she had created a TikTok account to spread awareness for Tourette's and promote her business. It didn't take long for her to amass over 500,000 TikTok followers.
And she faked
However,
it?
suspicion was high from the moment that 𝗦cije𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 gained any semblance of a following. Because not all people with Tourette's present vocal tics. In fact, a vast majority of people with Tourette's don't have this symptom. However, if someone with Tourette's has tics, then there tends to be a few key characteristics that are mostly consistent with other sufferers of Tourette's. These are that the tics are semi-voluntary and can often result in injury. They are also random, though generally happen in batches or in groups. And lastly, they are commonplace. The urges are always present in day-to-day life, and suppressing the tics for extended periods of time is close to impossible. Of course, all these symptoms can vary, but there is a general pattern. However, 𝗦cije𝗰𝗶𝗃...
Maybe I have tics as well. I'm pointing again. Fudge! Me with the goddamn pointing, man. But yeah, like sometimes I do have like the urge to like, do this. Do you guys do that? I don't think it's related to TikTok, but it's like, I get a little bit of that sometimes. It's like shaky, or like it's like cold, or like nasty. It's more like that, but I don't think it's a tics. Might be. Can it develop Tourette's? Yeah, if you watch TikTok. Yeah, it's because of the YouTube shorts, man. Oh my god. Oh my god, that is true, that is true.
Seem to defy lots of these rules. Her tics seem to conveniently be timed and had a regularity to them that was atypical to say the least. It all seemed staged, but this wasn't proof by itself. However, this was the first suspicion of many, which led people who investigated...
Maybe I should like have a fake illness. Maybe that is the way to go to become like known, famous, rich. Maybe I can even become a beautiful boy. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna fake anything, I think.
Investigated 𝗦cije𝗰𝗶𝗃 down a dark path of deception and disgust. In hindsight, it was very clear that 𝗦cije𝗰𝗃's videos were staged. The combination of how fake they look compared to actual Tourette's, as well as how 𝗦cije𝗰𝗃 would smile into the camera and laugh at every other
Trotsky! That is too funny. YouTube shorts give me diarrhea. Well, right now I am like, I can believe that. I can believe that.
Made a convincing case by itself, although all the lies unraveled when people started to investigate the other things that 𝗦cije𝗰𝗃 had posted. What they found was shocking. 𝗦cije𝗰𝗃 had numerous channels dedicated to topics other than Tourette's, and on these videos she would never tic at all. For example, she had a TikTok dedicated to crystal healing, where she displayed no visible tics whatsoever, but she did have an excuse. These were just short videos, so she could have suppressed her tics. But then, in an hour-long livestream, she went the entire duration reading poetry without exhibiting a single tic. This is impossible for anyone who actually suffers from Tourette's, and it was something she couldn't weasel out of easy, especially considering the symptoms she had shown off on her Tourette's account. As this evidence spread like wildfire, 𝗦cije𝗰𝗃 tried one last trick. In a futile attempt to prove her critics wrong, she uploaded a letter from a doctor that seemed to prove she had Tourette's. However, the letter seemed off, in much the same way as her tics did. There were numerous mistakes. Some of her diagnoses were listed twice, all were left extremely broad, which
Damn, if she made it herself and she wasn't even able to make the goddamn fake evidence like correct, that is sad, man. That is sad. That's why you shouldn't cheat. If you cheat, you don't learn. If you don't learn, you're not able to do this correctly. God damn it.
no real doctor would do. But worst of all is why...
Yeah, no doctor would do this. No doctor would do a mistake, okay? Just so you know.
Did the doctor refer to her as a very pleasant 27-year-old left-handed lady?
Just think that she said that to herself, basically. Oh, I'm a very pleasant 27-year-old left-handed lady.
Even the logo at the top of the sheet looked fake.
God.
In fact, it matched the first Google image result, but didn't match the logo on official documents later uploaded by a Reddit user. With her web of lies falling apart and her videos being mobbed by people exposing her fraud, 𝗦cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 vanished from the platform. And now 𝗦cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 is just the tip of the iceberg here. The fact that faking a mental illness is any way desirable on the platform is the real problem with TikTok. You see, TikTok actively promotes these sorts of channels. And I mean, who knows at this point how many millions of young people have been exposed to content that celebrates and promotes mental illness. And then once these users are exposed to this sort of content, they are then caught in these algorithm loops that make the users mentally ill themselves.
Yeah, but this is like, is this because it's designed to be negative, or is it like a cause? It's that just happened by having really snappy videos and algorithms that show you more of what you're interested in. Is it just like a accident, or is it designed like this? I'm curious, because like if it's like a national security issue, it sounds like then China is using TikTok towards like breaking the population of the West or whatever. But is it just unfortunate consequences of algorithms that are basically the same in most social medias? Like if you go to YouTube and you start to look at like, say, Andrew Tate, then you're gonna see Andrew Tate everywhere. Now that you guys have been, now I'm pointing again. I'm starting to point again. You guys have been like saying that I should propose to 𝗦𝗀𝗀. Now 𝗦𝗀𝗀 is getting like wedding rings and like engagement rings all the time. It's like, it's just how the world works now. It's just everywhere. Like if it mentions something, if I say to my phone now, like, I want to buy a boat, 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 I'm probably gonna get some boats later today.
I mean, social media in general plays a huge role in developing one's identity and personality, but with TikTok, this process works in such...
Are you seeing me on every feed? Hell yes, I'm doing something right, Andy.
A powerful way, where the app actively recommends these channels to exactly the kinds of people who would be most vulnerable to it. People suffering from Tourette's will see a lot of Tourette content. Depressed people will mostly be shown depressing content.
It's like you need the opposite, I think. If you're depressed, you need to see less depressing content. You need to see more like upbeat content.
People who are anxious are showed anxiety-inducing content. If the app thinks you're in the same demographic as people who engage with this content, then it will guide you towards it. But the worst thing is that through TikTok's insanely advanced AI algorithms and addictive user design, TikTok will trap you in these thought loops and you won't even be aware that you're in one. In one article by Sadie Lee, she describes her experience on TikTok, where she found herself in this addictive TikTok loop of people self-diagnosing OCD and autism. She described that once she was stuck in this loop of content, she and millions of others would engage with this community of self-diagnosing on TikTok. And this...
Yeah, it is like that just in general though. If you're talking to a friend or talking to someone else and you're like talking about like depression, and then the other guy is like also like, yeah, shit, I'm also depressed, and then it's like you just like you tell yourself stuff, you know? That is just how we humans are. I think we can become sick by like going too hard into things.
This is where the TikTok pipeline takes a very sinister turn, because the true danger of this lies not only in its damage to the people who really suffer from these conditions, but also to TikTok users' own self-development and future progress. Dr. Anthony Daniels highlighted this problem in his book Life at the Bottom, where he described the underdevelopment and poverty of the English underclass. He claimed that the cause of their suffering was due to their mindset and lack of personal responsibility, which was instilled by their family and culture, which is why he recounted that the English underclass weren't suffering from material poverty poverty, but poverty of the soul. When working with these people, he described, quotes, "Day after day, I hear of the same violence, the same neglect, the same broken relationships, the same nihilism, the same dumb despair." He recounted that people suffering the most in English society usually happen due to destructive thought loops instilled in them by their culture, where they would adopt this mindset that negates all self-accountability and personal responsibility. For example, he saw this with alcoholics who would explain their misconduct while drunk, saying things like the beer made them mad, acting as if the beer drank the alcoholic. And this denial of agency, and therefore the personal responsibility, gives people excuses to damage their own progress. They can blame something else. They can blame the alcohol.
But yeah, I think it's very, very easy to go into like blaming other things, and also like I think you get very affected by where you, like what environment you're in. Hey, Blue. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, it's motherfucking Peaky Blinders, man. The Peaky Blinders, they're so cool, but you shouldn't be like the Peaky Blinders, okay? Okay, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
The murderer can blame the knife, or in the case of TikTok, the user can blame their self-diagnosis as an excuse for their self-gratification, pleasure-seeking, lazy attitude that stunts their emotional and personal development. And then mixed with the damage TikTok is doing to its users' brains, which is causing a lack of self-control through destroying your attention span, and it's very clear that TikTok is poisoning Generation Z, leaving millions in poverty of the soul, which is a very worrying fact considering that TikTok is the most used social media site of all time, and spending 80 minutes a day.
But I want to play the devil's advocate a little bit here, because this is like super negative towards TikTok and super negative towards like social media. I think social media is an issue, but I also think it could have positive effects as well. I'm pointing again. So I think like if you get into like a really shitty loop, then it's not great. But I think also you can have like Andy was talking about a little bit, like ironically or sarcastically or whatever. But anyway, like watching funny stuff, it can be like a little bit nice. Or there are also some like educational stuff on social media, which can be nice as long as you don't like follow the world is flat and there is 5G in the vaccines. I think you can learn something that is kind of good. I feel like a lot of my, like, how can I explain that? I found like when I was trying to get into my occupation of being a developer and graphic designer kind of guy early, I did like follow a lot of social media and like educational personas in that category. And that helped me so much. That formed me as like someone that was hardworking, and I learned a lot of how things work. So I think it has some good sides, but it's just so many bad sides as well. And there's so many negative like things that we haven't like thought about yet. Like the other day, 𝗦cie 𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 was talking about like, and there was like a discussion in Norway basically on a channel about kids and social media, and like if you should hide your kids from all your social medias, or if it's okay to have them with you with family pictures or stuff like that. And there is like so much drama about that. I'm not sure what I think myself. I do show Sarah here sometimes. Sometimes Sarah is here laughing and hitting the microphone and stuff. But that could also like be not great for her, because maybe she grows up and she's like 24 years old and she's like, why, Dad? Why did you have to show me to everyone when I was young? I didn't want anyone to see me. Or that she if I became like super famous, then she can't hide. Now she's like basically so young though, so she's gonna change so much. You're probably not gonna recognize her. But there's so many things with the modern way of living that is so difficult, man. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what, or not rules, but I don't know what the way you should go is. With many other things in life, I feel like I have a pretty okay compass about like what I should think about things, how I should think about things, because they're like old issues, being nice and stuff. But with this new thing, I'm not sure what the rules are anymore. It's very difficult.
Watching these videos, allowing TikTok to accrue over 1 billion users and being downloaded over 200 million times in the United States alone. And with TikTok's design making it very easy for almost anyone to go viral, TikTok is now fostering a whole new wave of clout chasing as well. Thanks to TikTok, Young people are increasingly buying into the idea that narcissism, not fulfillment, not meaning, not authenticity, but narcissism is the ultimate measure of satisfaction. And is it really any wonder given the warped and corrosive view that's fed to Generation Zs by TikTok's algorithm? I mean, if you're not posting about mental illnesses and denying all personal agency, the other easiest way to go viral on TikTok is to dance provocatively, which is making TikTok a virtual meme market,
the way to go,
all
guys.
for the pleasure of horny teenage droogs
to do
and
more
pedos.
ass stuff.
That's why if you go on TikTok, you'll be bombarded with endless insipid videos of girls shaking their ass to music.
Okay?
I mean, the majority of posts on the site looked like underage girls either showing off their bodies or being explicitly sexual. That's why the 𝗦cie 𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀, the most followed people on TikTok, having over 100 million followers, just shake their ass to earworm music, all for the creepy pleasure of horny men. And what's even worse is that most of these TikTok stars haven't even left school, but nonetheless, this is in turn incentivizing the girls watching to mimic that exact behavior, all for the chance of gaining more views and more likes. And this trend couldn't be better summed up.
It's like, it has been like this for a long time though, like with like movies, TV shows, or like especially like music videos. But this is like very available for every girl, I guess, to shake their ass. Shake their ass.
And with the rise of TikTok videos catalyzing OnlyFans success, where TikTokers lure simps to their OnlyFans pages, where these horny simps will fork over their hard-earned cash for a virtual girlfriend experience. Like OnlyFans user 𝗦cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀, who described how she used her TikTok virality to make $200,000 a month on OnlyFans in just the space of 5 months. Other top OnlyFans...
Son, we gotta get some of that OnlyFans money, son.
Creators have also spoken about how TikTok has enabled them to become these hyper-affluent online stars. And this phenomenon wouldn't be happening anywhere near as quickly if not for TikTok, where TikTok is catalyzing this wave of desperate sims to hand over the money to these people who influence their everyday lives. And this trend became even darker when a Wall Street Journal investigation on TikTok found that when you said you were 13 years old and searched for OnlyFans on the app, the algorithm would bombard you with videos about adult entertainment and drugs. It's becoming very clear that TikTok is destroying Generation Z, and there's almost no way these young children can even defend themselves when they're up against some of the most advanced AI technology and sophisticated algorithms the world has ever seen. And TikTok doesn't just turn a blind eye either. These algorithms are designed to expose innocent minds to the most...
That was crypto mining, guys. What the hell? But even though that was crypto mining, the point in the back, or like the main voice here, is it's a good point. Like, it's hard to stand up against that. There's so many issues with the youth, guys. The youth.
Depraved things on the platform. And this is when the TikTok pipeline becomes very sinister. A recent study recently found that 16% of toddlers aged 3 to 4 are now on TikTok. The age restrictions on TikTok are so easy to fool that a toddler can do it, and they often do. And this number of toddlers on TikTok is only projected to grow. And these toddlers will be victims of all the things I've just...
It makes me like cringe to look at babies being so good at like using iPads. It's hurtful to see, man. Whoa.
Spoken about. We have no idea the damage this will do to the younger generation. But let's not forget, TikTok is complicit in all of this. As these children grow up, they are going to be exposed to increasingly depraved content. Their culture, their personality and identity will be shaped by TikTok. These young, impressionable toddlers are being shaped by TikTok's algorithms. And only time will tell what effect this will have in the future. But one thing is for certain, TikTok is manipulating the minds of over 1 billion people. And the worst part is, TikTok's damage is very insidious. Almost no one knows about this. The research is only just beginning to appear. And if TikTok keeps growing and expanding as it is, we're only going to hear more and more of these terrifying tales in the near future. We have no idea the long-term damage this is doing. And yet the younger generations are being completely addicted to the app. I mean, how many of your friends and family are already addicted to the app? The worst part is that this pipeline is all deliberate. This is just part of a plan. It's manufactured, which is why TikTok is considered the world's biggest cyber threat. This is the part that makes TikTok a matter of genuine concern and a threat to national security, because the people who control TikTok's algorithms are the people rewiring the brains of Generation Z. They are brainwashing the youngest among us, and they are doing this on the orders of the Chinese government. That's why the Chinese version of TikTok is the complete opposite of the West. Instead, on the Chinese version of TikTok, all videos that are flagged as degenerate by the Chinese government are actively removed, and yet at the same time, the algorithm promotes videos of hardworking everyday people sharing their life.
Shit. We need the Chinese TikTok, guys. I really like when it's like hardworking stuff. That gives me a lot of inspiration and motivation, guys. Oh my god. It's crazy. It's like destroying the youth, guys. It's destroying the youth.
life and work accomplishments. And as you'd expect, these videos are generally wholesome, upbeat, and positive, with there being a literal section on the Chinese TikTok called Positive Energy to promote the Communist Party. But in the West, TikTok promotes the exact opposite.
That's a little bit fucked up though. Shouldn't be like the political party. But it's not shocking, it's China.
Of TikTok, we're bombarded with girls shaking their ass to musical earworms, where mental illness is glorified as a virtue. But then back in China, Xi Jinping's Rejuvenation of the Nation project is shielding the population from the damage TikTok does to the global population. And considering TikTok is run by ByteDance, a subsidiary of China's dictatorship, you start to realize why this app is a major cyber threat, not only for TikTok's creation of the mental illness pipeline, but also from the data TikTok is extracting from you in the process. TikTok collects biometric identifiers and biometric information. All your data, including face prints and voice prints, are being stored in the Chinese government's massive databases. As Human Rights Watch has warned in the past, the Chinese government has been collecting highly personal data for years, all in an effort to bolster its biometric database. And as the CCP gains more and more influence over the world, it's obvious to almost all world governments that TikTok is a Trojan horse. The billion TikTok users around the world provides the CCP an inconceivable amount of highly personal information, and TikTok collects way more information than any other social media site. It collects everything you do, all the websites you visit, all the apps you go on, how your voice sounds, your fingerprints, everything. And the only reason ByteDance is allowed to be a multi-billion company is because it does the work for the Chinese government. The corporation is, quote, launching a full-front assault on China's market, according to the South China Morning Post, as it seeks to win top rank in the country's internet world. And ByteDance is doing this by hoovering up as many users and as much data as possible with its strong algorithms. And so China actively supports ByteDance. ByteDance's top board of directors is littered with Chinese officials. It is one of the most effective weapons in the global information war, as it allows the Chinese government to collect biometric data all across the world, from Ecuador, Ethiopia, and the United States. And if you're still not convinced by this, look at this report dubbed China Standards 2035, which looks at how artificial intelligence and big data is helping China become the dominant world force. China is leveraging their technology to take over the world. Given that almost none of the world have robust biometric privacy regulations, this data exploitation is a very serious issue. The only light at the end of this tunnel is that governments are waking up to this reality, either because of politics, data security reasons, the effects on mental health, or all the other reasons we've laid out. It is clear that there is a general pattern of governments banning TikTok. India, Indonesia, and Bangladesh have all banned the app, and the USA is very close to banning the app. In fact, it almost did ban the app under Trump's government, but Biden stepped in to pause this move. But even now, Biden is having to backtrack.
Biden stopped it! Biden. I didn't think it was awake.
Saying, quote, TikTok is a matter of genuine concern. And so if corrupt governments can resist the lure of TikTok's lobbyists, TikTok won't be allowed to keep ruining the future of the world. Hopefully it won't be too late before people wake up to the reality of the casualties of TikTok, but I worry that it's already too late. TikTok is a leash that's sucking away the energy and potential of the youth, so protect your mind and country and delete TikTok today.
Smack it down, guys, smack it down. Wow. This was a wild video. Thank you so much, Tox, for sharing it. It is wild. I feel like a lot of things are making sense now. Like, I feel like a lot of stories I've heard is like starting to click together a little bit. I am a little bit like scared of thinking too much in terms of like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. I try to like not think in that way too much, because I feel like that could open my brain to too much stuff, man. But this seems pretty reasonable and real, that it's like in China's benefit of having like a pretty shitty algorithm for us and a good one for them. And also, like, I think people are very like drawn towards negative things, and like it's quickly, I feel like it's the same with like heat and cold. Like, if you have like, cold is just the lack of heat, and I feel like it's the same with positivity and negativity. It's like negativity is the lack of positivity. Like, you have to actively like work towards positivity. So if someone like draws that away from you or like gives you negative things, then I think it's very, very quickly that you're gonna get that same feeling basically yourself. So that is not great, guys. That's not great. Maybe I should delete my TikTok. I might do it. My TikTok is not filled with like depressing stuff though. It's mostly like someone like farting or like some dog saying something nice with like clicking buttons or something. So I feel like I'm not infected. My TikTok isn't infected yet. But this is wild. Also, like when you hear about like kids like doing like crazy drugs like LSD or like MDMA or something, and people are like, kids are like dying from it basically, and it's just so like normal and regular to do that, and it's like very glorified on TikTok, I think. Also like with the stupid challenges and stuff, there's many bad things that comes out of this, but there's also many bad things coming out of like every young generation, I think, as well as like good things. I heard on the news the other day that it's a thing with like dislikes, or like they call it icks. And an ick is basically like something you don't like about someone, that you don't want in a boyfriend or girlfriend. So it could be like smoking, which is like a normal one. But it's like getting shared like lists of things you don't like in a person. And something that came out of this is like what people dislike in other people, like in potential like mates, just grows and grows and grows, and then no one is good enough basically. So that is not great. Before you had like your own personal like opinions, like I don't like people that are like I don't know, smoking or drinking or maybe something else. Maybe I want someone with like this is scary territory, but like someone that is super tall or something, and then you have like that preference. But then if you get like everyone else's preference and you add it on your preference, then there's no more humans on the planet Earth that is good enough for you. So that's kind of crazy. Damn, I'm sorry for ranting here, but it's very interesting. It's a very interesting topic. Thank you for sharing. Done with the reaction, or is it still part of it? Yeah, this is basically still part of it, but I think I'm done. I'm just gonna read your comments, and then we'll check out the community Factorio server, see how far we have gotten or you have gotten, and then we're gonna play Crastorio 2.